Today I'm back in the garage with a new project, my stand-up bandsaw. I've been waiting to get one of these to help me make those bowls in the garage, and I finally picked one up for $25. It needs covers and it needs to run. Let's see if I can fix it. There's two plugs for one bandsaw. Now this plug runs to the motor and this plug runs to the light. So if I plug in this part, the light comes on only. If I only go to the motor, it kicks on, but the belt doesn't spin. So the motor works, I think the belt's dislocated. Now what I can do here with this plug is plug into the back where there's an outlet, and then I can plug this original light plug into here. Now all the energy is stopping at this switch until I put it on. I'm gonna clean it up and I'm gonna see if I can get that belt onto the motor. So I cleaned most of it, it looks better, and then I noticed that this wasn't sawdust. I'm gonna get my chisel. So the motor turns this belt, which turns this wheel. This wheel has a blade on it, which runs around up here and cuts down. Right now, these pressure points here guiding the blade are lock solid, so those have to be loosened. And then I have to figure out if I can tighten the belt or just get a new belt. So this is how the bandsaw works. It would originally run off this spinning, and that would guide the blade. Now if you were to push it left or right, these blocks here in the center would hold it from going anywhere else. Then in the bottom you have the same configuration with this guiding it, and then two blocks down there keeping it from going left and right. I found the release for these is right underneath here, and that's the same on the bottom. They're right here. With the belt being this loose, I would like to get another belt. I don't think I can tighten it unless I was to lower the motor, but I'm sure it's an old belt, so I'm sure I could purchase a new one. This is what we're using. I've loosened everything and removed it from the blade so that I could limit all sounds necessary to see if this axle is making any noise. And right now I don't have any resistance. Now I'm gonna tighten everything down. The only thing I was seeing with some resistance was the blade hitting the back of this. So I moved up the rotator just a bit. So now if I push in, it's gonna hit the rotator instead of the back there, and it shouldn't drag it down. It will occasionally spin if it's getting touched. Down below, I loosened what I needed to, and now I'm gonna tighten it up, and I'm gonna put the belt back on, and we'll see how it runs. Come on, baby, let's go, let's go. Come on now, come on now. All right, so it's a little squeaky. I'm a little scared right now for my own safety. Ta-da! Blinking down here. Something needs to be tightened down here. Now I know why the safety is supposed to be on, because this really could come out me. It just sounds a little loose, that's all. Woo! Let's go! Ah! Let's go! So it's a few days later, and we're back with the bandsaw. I looked up the model number. I looked up this belt. It is no longer in service. I should not be able to put it on with one finger and just roll it on like that. So usually there's a tensioner on the end, on the motor, and this machine doesn't have this. This turns the wheel up top and the motor sits right here. I went to an auto parts store and I asked them if they could match this exact belt, and they couldn't. They found something similar, but they couldn't match identically to the groove set on this one. So this is too much stretch for a cord, and I have no tension. But on this side where the motor mounts on, I have an option to lower it one more mount. And that's something I'm gonna try here, and we're gonna see if we can add the tension to it and still have it run. If that works, then we fixed a $25 machine. So at this point, I got the belt back on. I've lowered the motor and there's a lot more tension. I can't push the belt together. I found it was best to mount the motor first and then work the belt onto it. If I had the belt on first, I had to fight the motor and push the belt down, and that didn't really help. But now we have a good amount of tension that I think will turn that blade pretty well. I can always get a cover on the top, and this is protecting me from it falling off, so I'm probably okay with that. So I'm gonna plug the motor into the back of the stand. And I'm gonna plug the back of the stand into the outlet. Got safety glasses. Check it out. So far, so good. With the bandsaw, I'm gonna cut some plywood to cover this front. Maybe screw it on the sides. That way that danger is gone. I'm gonna put the cover on the back, but this bandsaw is up and running. So here's the finalized product of the bandsaw. I was able to add some safety equipment to it. This board simply slides out like that with the little tongue and groove setup I've made. This board here has a bolt holding it in with a backer plate guiding it from hitting the blade. Down here it's also cut so that it can't go left or right. And it seems to run quite well. Still makes some noise, it needs a little bit of grease and a little love, but we're gonna get that. It's been running fine. I've had a 1/4 inch blade on there, I have a 1/2 inch blade on there. I gotta order some more blades. I was able to cut some pretty large bowl blanks with a 1/2 inch blade, and this will go right onto the lathe. And it held up fine. It took some time, it's an older machine, but it's definitely serving its purpose, and I feel a lot safer with these in there. So for the old Craftsman bandsaw, not looking bad for 25 bucks. Thanks for watching.